Good afternoon, Chair, members of the Commission. I really tried to keep my comments under 3 minutes. If I go over, I'm gonna get done as soon as I can, I promise. Brittany Roethemeier on behalf of Fayette Alliance. I do want to take time to thank planning staff, TSW, and all the subcontractors that work so hard and incredibly quickly on this plan. And in so many ways, it really represents best practices for new neighborhoods, for our community, and builds a roadmap for what responsible, sustainable, and equitable development can look like in Fayette County. Diverse housing options, multimodal transit options, connected streets, neighborhoods, and attentions to greenway, parks, and more make this really the most innovative we've seen in a very long time here. But it does, as had been raised earlier, raise important questions that have to be asked and answered for Lexington residents and more importantly, Lexington taxpayers. The plans for expansion were based on needs for housing affordability and equity. And the main questions are, does this plan help to achieve those things? And if so, how does it do that? It proposes infrastructure costs and fiscal impacts that raise serious concerns about the fiscal sustainability of this type of development. While the upfront $570 million of infrastructure costs will be split between the city and private developers, ultimately those costs are passed on to people purchasing houses from developers. How do those costs make the housing more affordable for Lexingtonians? The plan projects ongoing maintenance costs, specifically to the city, of $8.5 million a year for staff and services. Once again, residential development doesn't pay for itself. It costs all of us. The projected deficit for LFUCG once development is completed is between -$32 and $48 million a year. How will it impact investments that are needed in other neighborhoods and other parts of our community, especially those that have been historically disinvested? 2,500 acres of land for the 96 expansion have still been undeveloped, and thousands of underutilized acres inside the boundary could still support tens of thousands of housing units and jobs, and they still require incredible infrastructure investment. We cannot leave these areas behind. We hope you'll consider the following recommendations. Require a measurement tool in the plan to study and evaluate how progress on this plan impacts housing affordability, affordable housing, and equity in our community in certain time intervals. Require updated regulating plans for existing expansion areas for 96 and other prime infill and redevelopment focus areas so that those areas don't get left behind. And require commitment to simultaneous investment in infill and redevelopment infrastructure inside the existing urban service boundary. Recommending support for financial commitments to the Public Infrastructure Fund and priority projects like Model Complete Streets or an updated plan for existing undeveloped expansion areas are examples of very tangible opportunities to ensure that our existing undeveloped land doesn't get ignored. A lot is at stake for our future, and while proponents of expansion told us that these efforts would make housing more accessible, they aren't being held accountable for how these are going to be paid for. We'll hope you'll consider including these types of accountability tools in the plan. Thanks so much.